And hello good people of the internet, it is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is Adventures in Woo Woo. And in this episode, what I thought I would do is, because it kind of feels like we're going into a different kind of stage in this pandemic, apocalypse, changing of the world, this world initiation, whatever it is, I thought I'd do another 40 servants reading. Excuse me, because the very first one I did, I think really stood to me, and I found it great advice the whole way through, which was to protect yourself, to rise above the noise, and trust your own gut and your own sense of things. And kind of that has been what I've been doing. I've been protecting myself as much as possible from a very mundane kind of, social distancing. Yeah, going out once, following the rules and regulations, to the kind of keeping the panic down on social media and keeping my news and the rate at which all of the doom porn comes in on me low. And there was all these different factors as well. Rising above it all is part of the protection thing as well, and not giving in to the, I suppose, panic or the negativity and all these things we've talked about over the last couple of weeks on in the different videos, different audios. And then to have your own kind of sense of it, and I do, my own sense of it is that I'm going to be positive about it, and I feel positive about it, and it's hard to be positive about it because we're all, such a tough time, and the positive thing isn't our default nature. Positive is kind of, and I probably will do a whole video about this, but it's like seen as naive, it's seen as unrealistic, it's seen almost like, people attack it very quick as if, it's not allowed. And I have talked about it before, are we even allowed to be happy in that thing, but I'll talk about it again. Anyway, so I thought I'd do another reading just to see what came out this time. And again, I am going to use the Brazilian deck, because that is what I have in hand. It's exactly the same, other than the names are in Portuguese. So the question, I suppose, is what do we need to know, or what do I need to know? I suppose I can do a reading for myself rather than the large. What do I need to know going forward? With it being going forward into the kind of the world as it is now. Going forward into the immediate future. Okay. The Balancer. Interesting. So the Balancer, strangely enough, is about balance. And so it's trying to, not going too in one way. So in a sense of, don't overwork yourself, don't don't do anything in kind of excess, don't overwork yourself, don't underwork yourself. You put in the correct amount of effort, the right amount of effort in regard to all things, be that work, be that leisure, be that panic, be that positivity, I suppose, be that negativity, all the things, try and keep it in a balance. So there's kind of thing of being, be aware of the things that are going on, be aware of the world, but don't let it take over your world. Don't let it do, keep it in its right balance, in its right place. Have a listen to what the government's saying, have a listen to your favourite pundits are saying, the people you trust, the people who you feel are steering you right. And then balance that with actually living your life too, and doing the things that you still want to do, and don't let the fear of the great unknown get to us. And all things in moderation, and all things none to excess, including, I suppose, this whole idea of being, totally positive about everything all the time. Balance that with, some not negativity, but you don't have to, that thing I talked for, it's okay to have moments when you panic, it's okay to have moments when you feel that things are getting out of control, but an overall kind of balance of a healthy kind of thing. And for me, I think the balance would be to try not to overwork myself or to extend myself too much during this time, and to be aware that while it's a great kind of fertile ground for magic, for creativity and all of that, to keep in balance, spending time with my family, resting, recovering, recuperating, all of these things, have some downtime as well. So balance. So good. So a time more of balancing things than necessarily creating and using this time as an opportunity and stuff like that. So the healer. That seems obvious enough. So just use this time then as a kind of a healing thing, or be aware of healing as being something that is obviously needed in a global scale and stuff, but healing the different things that other than just the physical stuff that's going on, more than just the coronavirus, healing kind of relationships, or healing parts of your mind, or healing old wounds, or looking after yourself, do yoga again, do any kind of things that would kind of boost your immune system, both, you know, not just your physical immune system, but your mental immune system, your spiritual immune system. You know, you kind of do some building up of your aura stuff. I know I keep switching between me and you, but just go with me. Just go with me on it. Making videos is quite a weird thing when you're you know, because I'm talking to a camera and trying to pretend that I'm talking to people, but I also know I am talking to people, and then also trying to relate it to my kind of view of the world. So healing, more than just being kind of, that whole thing of what the, you know, the definition of health is more than just not being sick. It's about healing in many different levels, of being well in many different levels, being well in all kind of aspects of your life. So we're all kind of concerned very much about your physicality of at the minute, because of, you know, it's a physical pandemic and stuff. But have a look around what can be healed. Jeez, what can be healed in the other areas of your life too, to get a more holistic kind of sense of healing going on, rather than just, you know, one particular physical thing or a mental thing or whatever it is. Okay. And then depleted. Now, that's an interesting one. That would suggest to me then that this is the turning of it then, that this, to be aware of the depletion, the things were, you know, we're kind of in the, you know, the kind of notion between the dark, the night, and then the day. And you have, you know, the darkest before the storm, or the darkest before the dawn. I think it's called the Terminator. Is that I heard someone talking about that, being the Terminator. That this, you know, the hour before, the darkest before the dawn. That thing where, you know, animals hunt and all that. And I think it was a Thomas Sheridan video actually, where he's talking about, where he says that one of the reasons why the birds are so sing so much at the dawn is because they survived through this kind of darkest moment or whatever. But so think of this as kind of the Terminator darkest moment. This is the bit before we get to the bit where we want to be, you know, so we can sing our songs again. So we're, you know, we're the birds released, happy that, you know, we've made it past. And it's this kind of notion that all of this kind of has to be gone to its nadir in order to, you know, something wonderful to come out of it. And of course, you can be very negative about the whole idea of the depleted and things being depleted and the darkest before the dawn. But it can't get any worse. You know, this is it. This is the bit we're going through. This is the hard point. This is the peak or whatever. And so it's all from this. This is the bit where we're on the other side of it. I would also suggest that depleted in this sense would mean that the energy of the situation has in fact depleted. That we are on the other side of it as well. But when I say things like that, like it can be, I'm not a psychic, you know, and what I say about all readings is it's to be taken as a kind of a different perspective on things, rather than the truth of the world or the truth, divine plan, or, you know, the truth from God or whatever. And you know, it's because I wouldn't want people to go, well, Tommy said that you know, it was all over or whatever because I got the depleted. But I think that I do have a sense of it being turning. But I then notice like that could be just where in the location I am. Because when I look to other countries who are like a bit behind us, it seems as well that they're getting more into the whole kind of, I suppose, a bit more of the panic that where we were a couple of weeks ago. So for me saying it can feel very trite and very, what are you on about? This is the worst it's ever been. How can you say it's turning? So I am kind of talking from my own kind of perspective. But so, keep things in balance. Be aware of what you're doing. Are you spending too much time on social media worrying about it? Are you spending too much time with coronavirus news? Are you not spending enough time on it? Are you not, you know, like around Easter as it is now, and people, you can start seeing the social distance things. People are a bit more lax with it. Maybe you need to balance that out again, and you know, be a bit more concerned about it. Maybe not. You'll know what your own balance is, what you have to do. And the healing then is to heal more than just our physical aspects, but have a look at your mental, emotional, spiritual, all of these in a more holistic. And then the depleted is to kind of be aware that before things have to get better, they in a sense have to get not necessarily worse, because it's that they have to get to their nadir, their lowest point, in order then to move forward. And you know, not to get kind of caught up in that, not to kind of feel that, you know, that this is, not to become too doom and gloom about it or whatever. It's just a natural process of seasons changing, and, you know, it goes down so it can be reborn into a more fertile time. And with the possible kind of thing that we are past the peak kind of thing of this, and the energy has started to be removed from this kind of coronavirus. So take that as you want. As I say, definitely don't take it as the divine word of God. Take it as advice as you would from any friend who knows about as much as what's going on as anyone else. And look after yourselves. I have noticed today, and it's something I have noticed every weekend. Of course, this won't be the weekend when it's going out. That there seems to be periods where people calm, and then kind of pick up again. And the weekend seems to be a time where it picks up, and a bit more panic in the air and stuff like that. But I have a good, still solid, good feeling about this. I have a good feeling about the future. I think we could learn an awful lot, and I think we could go into the future feeling hopeful and positive, and be better people out of it, a better society, a better world, from all the lessons and all the revelations. And, you know, once the light has been shone on the dark side of society, and who the real heroes are, who the real kind of you know, people that we don't appreciate in the way we should appreciate, who are the people that we over appreciate, who are the kind of what the systems that need to change, all this kind of stuff. If we can take our lessons from this, deplete all the bad stuff, and then send the energy into all the good stuff, then this could be the greatest thing that ever happened to us. So good people of the internet, until our next adventure, be kind, be safe, be well, look after yourself, and may our best days be ahead. So just a quick kind of add to what I just said. This means now that I have to spend some time editing this video together, but so be it. It seems important that I have to say it. That when I had finished kind of recording the last video, and I had I was in the middle of upload, I was kind of going, well, there seems to be something else about the depleters that wasn't just covered by what I said. And it was this idea of burnout, that it seems to be pointing to burnout, which seems in line with what the other things were saying. So the balance, make sure you're healing, and make sure you don't get burnt out. So that could be a case of me colouring the reading with my own kind of thoughts and stuff like that, not allowing the cards to tell me what it was. So while I still agree with what I said about there seems to be an element of say the dark before the dawn, and the energy being removed from situations and all that, I think what it actually is pointing at in this situation is the idea of don't get burnt out. Because we are all kind of doing stuff where, well, most of us, or not most of us, some of us are trying to do, be creative and use this time as, the most opportune time, and, come out of this. You know that meme that was going around of it, if you don't come out with the side hustle, then you've wasted your time. And we could be doing an awful lot, maybe too much, trying to capitalize on this. I could be guilty of that, or I'm guilty of that at the best of time anyway. And then, so the whole idea of the depleted is saying, make sure you don't run out of energy, but also, make sure you're not getting depleted by all of your kind of surroundings, by the news, by the actual event that's going on, by worry about the future, so that you're energetically kind of burnt out. So I just thought it was important to add that, because it was kind of when I was like, go with the woo. When I was putting the video together, it was like those that voice in the back of my head going, you need to say this, you need to say this, and I was going to put it just in the show description. It goes, yeah, most people aren't going to look at that, so I have to add this addendum to the video that keep everything in balance. First thing, look at what's out of balance in your life. Heal all aspects of your life other than just the worry about the physical or the mental health thing that very prevalent at the minute. Have a look at other parts, more holistic health kind of thing, and be aware of burnout and doing too much and trying to capitalize too much on what's going on, or getting burnt out by worry and panic, or trying to keep your life together, or your the work, whatever, and just have times where that you can just kind of pull back a bit and keep it in balance, keep it all. It's not to say don't worry about the future, it's just keep it in balance. Do what you can to make the world greater as we go into the future, but look after yourself. That's essentially is a reading of look after yourself and keep things in balance, keep healthy, and just be aware of all the different things that are going on around you that may need to be looked at in the kind of healthy thing, the spirit, or mental, emotional, all of these things. So I think it's important to add that to it. And yeah, so until our next adventure, all those other things I said in the last video, but talk to you tomorrow and be well.